Hello and welcome back to Messages from Energy here on the Astroflower. How's your energy been? How's energy been with you this week, or the last week, or the week before? It's been a crazy 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Real sort of ups and downs, fluctuating, and so forth. It certainly felt very heavy at times within the energy, emotionally heavy, and there's reasons for that. We'll go into that in the sun in a minute, but I felt personally a real shift, and that's what the shift in consciousness was all about on Sunday for me personally. I don't know if it was the same for you, Sunday and Monday of this past weekend. And it was giving me a real clarification on how I should go about my life and what I should be doing and where I should be going and so forth. It was a fantastic sort of moment of liberation and revelation for me as on a personal sort of level. So, wondering how it's been going for you. Do leave your comments on this video here. Tell us how it's been for you. Yes, let's look into the sun. We'll go into the messages in a minute, and we will get a chakra sequencing and so forth. But in the meantime, let's just have a look at the sun. You'll find the sun, it's on this side actually. You'll see that this is the X-ray flux, and this is what's the eruptions that have been having this week. And there's certainly been an uptick in the vibration. There's a certain gradually increasing with a couple of spikes that you can see on there that give the M flares as well. Now, it hasn't really been erupting much in the direction of the Earth, and as you can well see on the sun just here, there has been the first main thing that was the coronal holes. Now there was two that was coming through. There was a long thin one, and then there was that sort of big sort of triangular one up in the northern hemisphere, and that created that earth energy combined with water, which made things a little bit heavy. I think personally, heavy emotionally over the past week and so. And that, you may have felt that, sometimes it was just difficult to sort of pick yourself up and get on. But then that vibration that is coming through, that fiery vibration been coming through, and it's been that steady pickup, has been helping to clear the air in a way. It's like a big thunderstorm that clears the humidity out of the air, and afterwards it makes everything feel a lot brighter and cleaner. There was an eruption here, and I want to show you this here. Now, this eruption happened on the north eastern part of the limb, or the incoming section of the limb. And this was a filament eruption. And this happened earlier on this week here on Monday and Tuesday, and Monday more than anything else. And this is what I think this was the release of emotional stress and strain upon life. And you can see that big eruption there, with also the eruption on the LASCO satellite there. When you can see that plasma that comes out, it's going to be going above the Earth. It may have some sort of side effect, as it were, in regards to particles, but mainly it was like this release of emotional energies more than anything else that was coming in our direction. And I think that sort of like took a lot of pressure off thing. It was a real pressure release moment for everybody. Okay. So that's what's been happening on that. What's coming up in the next couple of weeks, or the next week at least? I think we're going to see a lot more in the way of solar flares. So I think there's going to be more sort of fire and air energy. We'll go into that in your weekly readings, which is on Thursdays and Fridays. So I think things are going to start picking up, and the pace is going to be starting to pick up here. And if you've made this shift from the old paradigm into a new paradigm, which we've gone through, and you have a good sense of the direction you should be going, it may not necessarily mean you know exactly what you should be doing, but you know the direction you should be going. If you feel that direction within you, do not ignore it, and I would follow it if I was you. Once you do start following it and the energy picks up with it, it's going to be a lot easier for you to sort of manifest or sort of get into the swing of things. Things should be a little bit more lighter and bubbly, a little bit more sort of exciting in the way of sort of energies rather than heavier sort of energies. Will that last forever? No, it's going to change again. The corona holes will be back because we are going into the corona hole season of the sun, which is going to last approximately around about 2, 3 years. And that's all about sort of earth energy of getting things done, as it were, real sort of concrete sort of stuff. So use this moment here to wistfully go into the future, open up the ideas and the creation side of things, open up your bubbly and sociable sort of side, start connecting with people, connecting with ideas, trying things out, seeing how they fit and what have you. I think it will work very well for you. We've also got sort of hurricanes that's coming into the heart chakra of the earth, which is coming across the Atlantic. I will be going into that actually on Cymatic TV. Now, this is one of the reasons of the realizations that I had on Sunday, and I'll be reactivating our sister channel, Cymatic TV, which will be much more about the sun and much more about how the physical energy is transmitted through the sun, through the earth, and through us. Okay, so if you want to see more about that, please do go on over to Cymatic TV. Yes, in the meantime, let's just get some messages from the energy for us, okay, and see what's going on. We will be visiting to see what's happening in the center of the earth as well, and also getting a chakra sequencing. So let's start with that. Let's start with the chakra sequencing for us at the moment. So just connecting to that energy now. I'm sat upon this ley line here that goes in front of us. I can see the morphic fields there. Nice energies. Very, it's almost like a grey blue at the moment, light blue, more turquoisey sort of thing. And I would say that sort of ties into the third eye more than anything else. But let's just see, let's just get into that first connection, finding that point 0. There we go. Now we can feel the energy that rises up to the crown and goes down to the root chakra at the same time. The crown and the root seems to be crown chakra, sorry, seems to be well formed. There's a definite circulation going on within the crown chakra here, and I think this is to do with the new consciousness that we're stepping into. And it's not just a consciousness on an individual level, it's a consciousness on a collective level. People are starting to sort of see through the, the I want to say false flags, that sort of thing. People are starting to see through the cons, as it were, within the world of the geopolitical world and everything like that. And we're starting to see things for what they really are. I think the root chakra is also, it's very nice. There's nothing untoward about it. It seems to be very sort of, gentle, posed, nicely, sort of without any sort of real sort of intention more than anything else. It's more kind of a sensation of sort of a relaxed and feeling at home. That's what it feels like. Feeling at home with oneself rather than having to feel at home within everything else. Feeling at home with yourself. That's the most important thing at the moment. I think that helps with that new type of consciousness, not being dependent upon the outside world for inputs or to make us feel part of something. We are part of something just by being more than anything else. And I think this is where the root chakra is really sort of grounding in a very beautiful way. Okay, let's just see where it moves on to now. Okay, it's moving on into the solar plexus. And the solar plexus here it's very much tied into the root chakra. It's also tied into administrative side of things, crossing T's, dotting I's, doing things. I think it's concentrating on the nitty gritty, concentrating on the fundamental things in a way. Getting your ducks in a row. That's the sort of sensation that I get from it. Let's just see if there's a vision on that sort of side in that solar plexus. Finding how to cross from one timeline to another and being determined about it. not being in any fear, not having any fear within your life, not having any fear from judgment from the outside world either. Just stepping into what you should be living more than anything else. And that's helping to release that energy as well. And once you start stepping into it, it's going to create this vibration around you that's going to give you a lot more confidence within life, and a lot more determination. Let's just see where it's moving on to now. Okay, so it moves on to the third eye and the throat chakra. It does play with, I think this is where you got to, it's like crossing a road here. There's a lot of crossing roads here, and it could be changing of timelines that was going on at the moment with a lot of people. When we cross roads, obviously we've got to look left and right and so forth. And that's what the third eye and the throat chakra is doing. Certainly within the third eye, it's almost observing what is going on around us. So then we can sort of know when it is the perfect time to jump timelines or to cross pathways, and gradually walking away from an old dimension, old way of doing things, old way of putting our energy and our attention into things. I will go into that. I think that's going to be really important. On the throat chakra, the throat chakra seems to be really tight. Not tight as in an uncomfortable way, but tight as in a way that, you know, the conversations that you should be having, or the communications that you should be having with other people that are around you, shouldn't be too um, deep or distractive. They should have a real point to it more than anything else. I wouldn't, don't waste your time on distractive conversations. That's what it seems to be here. And there's also an aspect here of is focusing on the ultimate goal as well, seeing through the mist of energy, or seeing through the mist of things that are around you, so you can still see the point of destination for you in your life. Okay, and that's what it's trying to help with. Where's it moving on to now? Okay, it does move on to the heart chakra, but the heart chakra here, yeah, it does. There's also the sacrum as well that plays into it. I think your heart chakra, I think the heart of the moment, or the good sensations that comes through that heart chakra. And the heart chakra is all about um, expression of your joys and happiness, but they can only be expressed if you're doing the fundamental things correctly. If you're not paying attention to the T's and the I's, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, you may feel a little bit overwhelmed by the situation, and that will stifle your heart from being liberated in the whole sort of thing. And the energy is trying to encourage you to do that, to have these moments of being organized in your life. And I know sometimes, I'm as much as you. Sometimes, organization can be a bit of a pain in the backside. But here it's sort of saying, if you've got a certain organizations, getting into routines as well seems to be a good thing. So you're allowing and creating times where you can allow your heart to open up. And that could be within relationships as much as within financial side, or much within your projects or your spiritual path, whatever it is. But it seems to be tied into the fundamental things as well. And then it goes back to the crown and the root. And when we do go back to the crown and the root seems to be a little bit more important, more than anything else. I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about the workshops, because I'm doing a workshop down on the 8th and 9th of November, sorry, in Brighton. If you want to be part of these workshops, I've got 3 going on. One in Kirby Longsdale, up near Lancashire, and there's one also down in Wales, in Somerset. That's near Glastonbury. And then I've got another one in Brighton. There is, in the description, you'll find links to booking up your place within those workshops. And I was talking to a friend who's connected with that. And we were talking about um, where we put our attention, energy goes. And I was sort of saying, no, I think personally, energy is already there. If we pay attention, then we can see the energy. The moment we recognize the energy, because we're giving attention to something, that's when the energy then starts becoming a lot more obvious. And I think that's what plays through with the throat chakra here. I think it helps us to distinguish the energies or the vibrations that we wish to go towards. And that's where you can, put your attention into something because you're recognizing the energy is already there. Rather than putting your attention into something, then energy will go there. I don't think it happens like that, actually. I think it's more the other way around. There is a certain degree of that, but I think it's more of a case that when energy um, is already in a place, uh, it's waiting for us to recognize that energy. The moment we do, that's when we can put our attention into it. But the energy, as far as I can tell, is already there within that energy. So I think this is what ties in a little bit with the heart chakra and the sacrum as well. The whole idea that if we are slightly organized, then we will start recognizing the direction that energy is trying to direct us to put our attention into. And this is where we can be consciously creating our own pathways at the moment. Okay, let's just get some messages from the energy and messages from the earth as well. So let's just connect to this ley line here, this energy line here. And there's just a church just down there with a lovely crossing point. And we can then visit the center of the earth. So just connecting to that energy there, finding that 0 point energy, really nice. You can feel that heart coming out, uh, that heart chakra. And you can certainly, I can see it within the colors. There's a lot more sort of green now because of getting on and doing the fundamental things. And this is where energy is taking us to. So let's just walk down that energy line. There we go. We go down that energy line, get to the crossing point. There we can see the vortex. We go down into the vortex. And as we go down, I can see the undercrust of the surface of the earth as we go down into the center of the earth. And we can see that there's still a lot of vibrations around the Russian peninsula, which is the connection with Alaska in that section there, and also north of Australia. These seem to be the two hot points there at the moment in regards to what's going on the surface. As we come down, I've got to say the vortex is incredibly straight, organized. It's like a lot of the fuzziness has been taken out of this. It's getting really sort of regimental and organized with its vortexes. It's really, really nice. As it goes down into the center, here we go. We can see the plasma ball that's in front of us. And the plasma ball is looking a lot more electrified than I've seen it for a long time. You can see these currents of electricity that goes across the inner plasma ball, which generates all the electromagnetic fields, which is what you would call gravity and so forth. And it seems to be very, very electrified, as if it's like building a pulse. It's almost as if, like, when you do the electrical shocks to after someone's had a heart attack in order to reanimate them, it feels like that's doing that. There's a certain degree of reanimation that seems to be happening here, and that could be part and parcel of the conscious shift. Here we go. We're right on the plasma ball there. Let's find the doorway. There's the doorway into it. Okay, as we go into that, I can see a lot of administrators, and a lot of administrators, they're organized. They're doing stuff. Let's just find out. Let's find the administrator that helps us out. What's going on there? Okay. So I can see the Akashic Library, the small Akashic Library that's in the center. That seems to be really well organized. It's changing from a light glowing yellow, and it's becoming a lot more sort of white energy as it gets more and more charged. The portal energy that's in the middle of that is really now making giving a real sort of direction for the planet in a way. Let me just ask the administrators what's going on. Uh, It's like an EMP, magnetic pulse that's happening, and they're ready to discharge this electromagnetic pulse. Have we got any ideas of timing on that, my friend? We're looking around at the first, second of October, so that's going to be very interesting. What sort of effects will it have? Outages in within, it's a celebration, obviously. Outages within, it's a celebration. That's what is happening. I don't know why that thing happens there. I do apologize. Um, it seems to be outages within the electrical systems on the surface. So be attentive about that. There may be complications tied into that. Has it got anything to do with the sun, my friend? There seems to be an electrical pulse, and this is where it could be a solar flare, a big solar flare that's going to be, it says around about the 30th of September or something like that, that could be happening, that could, spark this sort of electrical EMP from the center of the Earth, which will then go out and meet the incoming solar flare. And that's where I think it may cause a bit of short circuiting within the surface. So they're organizing this, and this is a way of, well, of testing the portal as we go into the pole shift. So then, therefore, we don't, get so affected by the pole shift. They're trying to save planet Earth as much as possible. Not that planet Earth needs saving, but certainly with the system that we have already, that's what they're trying to do. And they're running tests on it at the moment. And this seems to be like a sort of test for future eruptions for the sun. Okay, thank you very much. Let me just go in and see what we can get to the portal. So I'm in the Akashic Library now. I can see a lot of things around. Everything seems to be very organized. They've even got the administrators that are working inside the Akashic Library. They're different sort of administrators, to be honest, as the people on the outside. So the message I'm getting for them is there's no turning back. Once you start down the pathway of this new consciousness, there is no turning back. You can't just stop. You've got to go all the way to the end, as it were. So there's no turning back now for a lot of things, and the energy is sort of saying that as well. That comes through there, and it's got a real direction, and it's like the dress rehearsals has been. We've been through them, we've been through them, we've been through them, and now is the time to actually engage in it and step onto that pathway. There's no turning back anymore. Thanking you very much. Let's just find. They're very, very busy. I'm going to leave them to it. Let's just go out of that plasma ball. There we go. Back onto the surface of the plasma ball. This is where I'd like to meet, or where we meet Mother Earth. Okay, it's almost as if she's like reminiscing a little bit. It's almost as if like she's sort of saying, it's like when you have children who's doing the exams and you worry about their exams. There's nothing you can do once they get to the exam stage. There's nothing you can do. They've just got to do the exams, and that's what she feels about us. It's almost a sort of kind of going, she wishes us well. Her advice is to keep calm and carry on, or keep calm and just do. I think that's what she's sort of saying here. Without putting the responsibility upon our shoulders, she's sort of saying, this is our time, to stand up and be counted, as it were, and see whether we make it through. There's she's presenting like this split in reality. It's almost like a portal, like a thin veil that we can go through. And is it a test? It's not a test. It's either you're ready or you're not. And be wary of those who haven't understood. That's what she's saying. Being wary of those who haven't understood. Leave them on their pathway. Don't poke the bear, as it were. But she's like, it's our one of our biggest supporters. She really wants the best for us, and she's being our best supporter more than anything else. Let's just see what comes. Let's get that vortex. Let's go back up to the surface. Let's find that vortex. Waiting for that vortex of the crossing point to come through. There it is there. Jumping into that. Back up to the crossing point. Down the energy line. Let's come down the energy line. We come back into the body as well. There's no messing about. And we've been playing with energies for a long time. We've been playing with consciousness for a long time. And now I think it's no longer playing, it's now playing. We're doing it for real. The rehearsals are done, and we're now enacting the consciousness, or actually expressing it. And this could be that sort of common sense revolution that we're going into or going through at the moment. And this could be the moment where we step from one side to the other. And that's what when we're looking at the chakra sequencing and so forth, it is about there was a lot of crossing the road and stuff like that. And it feels like that with energy at the moment, and certainly with Mother Earth. It's sort of like, now is the time for you to cross the road. Now is the time for you to step into the light, as it were. And it's not just a case of letting the light shine, it's being part of it as well. That's what it seems to be that's sort of coming out from that. So there's no messing about anymore. There's no I'll try this. No, it's a case of just doing it and living the pathway that we should be living. It's no more practice. It's much more sort of enactment more than anything else. And there's no going back. There's only going forward. So one step in front of the other, and we will all get there. Everybody has their part to play within this new consciousness as we go forward. And once we start enacting it, the collective consciousness will change. Everything is going to change in the way of governance within us and technology. There's loads of things that are going to change over the next 2 or 3 years because that conscious shift has happened. Okay? I will see you on your weekly readings on Thursday and Friday. If you want to know more about how the energies are being produced and created by the sun and being directed into the earth, and the earth changes that are happening, you can see that on Somatic TV. In the meantime, thanking you very much for being here with us. I really do hope you appreciate all the videos that we do on this channel. Thank you for subscribing, liking and sharing and all of that malarkey. I will see you soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.